Hello. Well, I'm going to tell you the most dreadful news. You can't be euthanized in Germany if you haven't had a COVID vaccination. Look, I want to say something about Germany. I have lived in Germany, and I remember the first time I went there, I expected, because that was the only model I had, films, I expected all Germans to be marching around, clicking their heels and barking "Jawohl" at people and that sort of thing. I know it's dumb, but that was the model I had in my mind. And when I got there, I discovered that the people were lovely. That one day, and then one day, I sort of went into a nosedive of depression because I'd just got off the tram. And I had my little boy with me, and there was this nice little old lady, and she gave my little boy a sweet, and she smiled, and then somebody helped me off the tram with the pram and all the rest of it. And as I got off the tram and started to walk to the apartment where we were staying, it suddenly hit me. If such really nice people could go so awfully wrong, what hope was there for the rest of humanity? It sent me into a flat spin for, maybe 2 weeks. I didn't know how I could handle it, actually. Anyway, so I'm going to have a go at the Germans, and I know I have German subscribers, and of course I don't include all Germans in my criticism, obviously. But it hurts me to have to say a lot of this. As a matter of fact, this is the 3rd time I've tried to make this video, so I hope this one works. But I have to tell you, if you're tired of living and you want to put an end to things, then, or indeed if your relatives are pestering you to put an end to things, I mean if the inheritance is an issue for them, then the best thing you can do is not go to Germany, because if you haven't had your COVID vaccine, it's illegal to put an end to yourself there. It struck me as interesting because I don't know whether this still applies, but in Germany, when I was living there, you couldn't change a plug or a light fitting on your own. You had to call a professional electrician to do it for you. And I found that weird. In Britain you're doing it yourself all the time, but no, there was an idea that you had to have a professional to do it. And in this case, they're talking about professionally assisted euthanasia. So, offing yourself, well, you can't do that, but you can go to a doctor and get it done professionally. I mean, you can't leave this sort of thing to an amateur, can you? A professional can do a much better job. If an amateur does it, all sorts of accidents could happen. You could kill yourself. Anyway, back to business. And it strikes me that unfortunately the Germans have a sort of mindset, in general, not all, but it's a mindset that I don't find entirely comfortable, let's put it that. And of course, as I said, it's illegal to die. If you want to die earlier than your allotted time, you have to go to a professional, but a professional won't deal with you unless you've had a COVID vaccination. Of course, they're talking about making it illegal to live without a COVID vaccination as well. So, search me what you're supposed to do. I know that there are many people in Britain and elsewhere who are actually busting a gut trying not to say the obvious. But, well, I'm afraid I'm going to bring up a couple of historical points. I know it's not polite, but, well, facts don't care about your feelings, do they? and it appears that the German people seem to get all their worst ideas from Austria. Now, at the moment, Austria has made Untermenschen of people who aren't vaccinating, and they're talking about people who aren't getting the vaccine, and they're talking about the pandemic among the unvaccinated, which is absolute nonsense. But just because the Austrians have gone to the dark side, why do you have to follow suit in Germany? What is this thing? Look, all right, for the rest of the world, in case you didn't know, because I wasn't aware of this, euthanasia is a thing in Germany. Apparently somebody, some group quite recently tried to stop the killing of the inconvenient sick, and it was declared unconstitutional. I have to tell you, I find the whole idea of euthanasia absolutely awful. And so I feel very antagonistic towards any country that has a legal system that allows doctors deliberately to kill people. You know, it's of course another matter keeping people alive against their will. That's something else. There's a little doctor's rhyme about that. Thou shalt not kill, but need not strive officiously to keep alive. That's fairly reasonable. So anyway, I have to say that I was shocked when I discovered that Germany, of all places, has allowed itself to go down that rabbit hole. But at the moment, the unvaccinated are safe because no German doctor will be allowed to murder them. And that's because if you're unvaccinated, they can't get close enough to you. As it says here, euthanasia and the preparatory examination require human closeness. Human closeness, however, is a prerequisite and breeding ground for coronavirus transmission. And so if you're unvaccinated, the doctors won't be allowed to get close enough to pat your hand as they slip the needle in. But surely we all know now that being unvaccinated or vaccinated, you're still passing the virus on. So I actually don't understand. The doctors do. I don't understand what they think is going on here. And of course, if the vaccinated are not infectious anymore, then why are they telling us all to wear masks? Anyway, I'm going to finish off with an idea I've had about what to do with unvaccinated people who want to shuffle off this mortal coil. It's a solution to the problem. You might call it a final solution. How about gathering all those people together, you know, the unvaccinated, and shoving them in a room and locking them in there? Obviously, it's a pandemic, so they're all going to infect each other straight away, and then all you have to do is wait for the lot of them to die. Something like that worked quite successfully before, so I've been given to understand. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.